So this is unexpected. It's not very long ago, can probably be counted in weeks, that I placed this here. And look, this is how fast they grow. So the cable is now part of the tree. That is insane. And now we'll try to remove this branch here. It was there before, but it was less thick. And I also removed a little bit here, and out of that already came this, and also a tiny bit that was sitting there. So these trees, once they grow, they grow. Let's see how I can fix this, because I wanted to remove this one and that one also, because I noticed that they are casting a lot of shade down here, and that of course stops the watermelons completely. Those that were a little bit over there in more sunlight, because here it is very dark, as you can see. Plus the fact that everything is completely overgrown by these things. So it's obvious that there will be no watermelon. There is one that is still there, but of course no sunlight is a problem. And I wonder if one of the dogs has been in here. Because this area there looks like. They usually don't do this because they recognize the string around. It's not electrified, but could also be the wind, because we had very strong winds, and that could in theory be. I will also try to cut a little bit all this stuff here. Maybe I can save a little bit. So in order to get this cable out of there, I actually need to do some sort of surgery. Because look here, this goes right into the tree, and on the other side there, it comes out of it. I need to remove all that. And this tool is not suitable for that. So I have a bit of feeling that this stays the way it is, as long as the sensor works. And then eventually, the problem is if the tree starts growing more, it will also consume that part here. So then I lose even more. So that's very sad. So I might have to cut it here, destroying the cable, and cut it there, and then connect this to here again. And it's kind of urgent, because if I wait 2 weeks, the tree might already have consumed that part. Interesting. What's the first? This should be a lot lighter now. Of course the shadow gets cast to this side, because it's hardest, and the tree is there for this. And as it grows taller, the shadow will even be longer. So this is then the area for plants that like half shadow. And this is the sunny side. And once these have grown more, we will then have a similar shadow. Let me step back without getting too wet, because it is wet here. So number 8 is also enjoying the very same shadow. So you can see how it looks like. And of course in winter they will have lost their leaves, and then we get full sunlight here, but less harsh and strong than during summer. So this is looking good. And by the way, it is also the prototype, so to say, of what I envision as a general way. So the distance between the tree row there and the next one, that is basically the width of the rows for the future. So that in between I can have a line of wobblers, so right in the center. So the one that you see there would have to go a little bit to the right. And the trees would have grown by drip irrigation and continue to get drip irrigation in some way. Or I install something else while they still need it. And I can grow something else in between. That something else will not be cash crops. That is not the direction, but it will be something like grasses for animals, for example, for grazing. And the animal then is the product, or the eggs that they lay in the case of chicken and geese. So this is then a silvopasture system, as described in many books. And this is how it could look like. So I'm showing you basically the future here in this frame. House. Come. It has been only a few days, and look at there at this tree. This is now above the wobblers. It's the biggest one of all that I have here in this patch. And also over there I can show you something, but you can already see it, but I will go over there and show you in more detail. I used the tool and cut down all the pioneer species to make soil. And here, that's the thing. You see, they are very different. So there's the one to the right, it is very little. And I think I have a loss also there. That never, got afloat. And then, even there is a little one. It's okay, but compare. And I did nothing different. I planted them with this little hoe that I have. It's like a little pickaxe. And just scratched the surface to make a hole. The surface was very hard. And they have all the same conditions. But their growth is very, very different. And I keep saying over there, I used the excavator to loosen this up. And the impressive part is, if you compare the size of these ones there to that one is definitely a winner. So, but I still believe using the excavator there is pretty important. At least in all the barriers where I can use it. But I'm still worried about how to get into this machine, because if you look, that's the machine that I have available, and it's very big. So with a regular excavator, the one that runs on track, like a Bobcat E45 or similar models, that would be a lot easier. Because you can turn around on the spot, which you cannot with this. So what I'm thinking is I can maybe scratch a bit here, but then there are the roots of all these trees. So I can't really dig a trench and backfill it like I did with the other ones there. So I'm very doubtful. Maybe there in this empty spot, yes. And the question is also how to get in there. So maybe through here. I go that way and then turn. The boom is high. but I think there's space. And then I can dig a little bit around there. And maybe there's a way to get into this other empty spot there in the center. But then it might not be worth it. So maybe I should simply use water as early as possible, get the drip irrigation going, and keep the soil that will be soft from the rain during spring, and keep it soft. Doesn't matter what grows. So I'm talking about a drip irrigation line with the emitters every 3 meters, and I just keep these spots as moist as possible before the temperature is right to plant these trees. I think that is more feasible here. And if it works out, it's a model for the rest. And as I only have this machine, and I can't really get another one quickly to try it out, it's impossible. Yeah, I think that's what I should do. Use water to keep it moist and therefore soft. And so to explain this, what happens here is when it rains in autumn, so soon, then step by step, these 3 meters until the water, or 4 meters, depending on the situation, depending on the location, they will become soft and soft and soft. But then it dries out because the rain stops at some point, and then it becomes hard. And so if I start to drip irrigate early enough, I can at least give these trees a head start so that they can develop a root system in softer soil until they are strong enough, and then punch through it. So that's the theory. So here's the close-up that I promised. I went in there and cut away. I need to open here this little gate. So I cut away all the pioneer species by using the knife part of my trimmer. And now this sits there and will decompose, and new things can emerge. And over time I hope that this will be grasses. There are some grasses, like this one here. But before there was nothing here, and these others established themselves. And this is good because they have roots that go deep, and therefore I get organic material in the ground. And this is the tallest of all here, and this is almost as high as this wobbler. But you see the one right at the base of the wobbler. No. And there I lost 3. And this one, from the very first batch, is still lagging behind. But the leaf color is good. So this dark green, this is very positive. And right there next to the grey water pond, you see the soil is extremely hard. And it manages, but this is nothing in comparison to this one. So this is all a mixed bag. But it is working, and that is the point. What you see here in this pic is how it's supposed to be. You see that he is completely covered in mud. It's like a coat. Yeah? They don't have fur like other animals or feathers, but instead they have their raw skin exposed, just like us humans. And instead of putting on a coat, they cover themselves in mud, which is why this mud pit there is so important. Not only does it help to cool down because there's water in it, it is also that it provides the mud as a coat. And you see, all of them, they have this to some extent. And that is how they dress. So this is very important that pigs do have this. And someone was asking about the compost, about their droppings and all that. So if you look around, over there, it is completely dry. That's where they sleep, and it's clean. And there's nothing near on either side where you can see any droppings. So their toilet is over there in full sunlight. And because this is in full sunlight, this will turn into dust very quickly. The birds come here, they scratch a little bit in it, but then it's dirt. And there is nothing that I could collect and use for compost or something like that. This is a different situation here. So all the comments that I received about using this material, they certainly come from people living in northern climates where pigs are kept in a barn of some sort, or there's frequent rainfall. It does not apply here. It's a different thing. So in summer, having a mud pit like that is very important. Deep bedding does not make any sense. But yes, carbon helps to keep the odor at bay, but currently there is no odor because it is dry. And when it is dry, there is no odor because odor is an aerosol. And that means if you don't have it in your nose, you can't smell it. So there is nothing that could evaporate and carry the smell. Therefore, there is no smell. So this works different. And when winter comes and the rain comes, then they will be out there and not in here. That gate there, well, it's not there, but that fence, that will be open. And we can still feed them here for a while. But they will then be free and roam the whole place and feed on acorns. We will not provide any feed from November on. They are on their own and they will become a lot fatter than they are right now because of all the stuff that they will be able to find that nature provides. Now this is how it works around here. This is a different model than elsewhere. So it's very important to keep in mind.